As we all know, practice makes perfect, and one man helping players to improve their tackling safely is Irishman John Paul Hartigan and his invention, Shadowman.
The Shadowman is a dynamic tackling system, and what I mean by that is the system comes with 3 components. The first component is the sled, the second component is a harness, and the third component is the humanoid. And basically what you do is you put the humanoid into the sled, and what you have then is a moving tackling target.
It was in his final year at university that JP found the inspiration for his invention when he noticed that players were not best served by the existing kit available.
The feedback that came back from the research is that the tackle bag was an unrealistic representation of a tackle, because what it is it's static. There's no human shape, so it's hard for players to understand what's going in the tackle by tackling a static object. So what I tried to do then was create something which was a lot more realistic, that was capable of movement, that was capable of resistance, that was capable of educating the tackler, and it had human form or human representation.
Once the dummy has been pumped with air and the base filled with water, players have a fully functioning tackling system at their disposal.
Okay, so the primary function of the target zones is to act as a guide for the tackler. So the tackler can come in and the coach can explain to him where to place his shoulder. For instance, the coach can tell him to place his shoulder at target zone 2 and then wrap around target zone 3. And also afterwards, if he makes an incorrect tackle, the coach can come back to him and tell him where and why he tackled it wrong. Also on top of that, the Shadowman has a bent knee posture, which is very important. Because once you go into a tackle, it's very important that you put your head in the right place. If you put your head in front of the knees, it can lead to serious injury. So what you need to do is put the head behind the thighs. So that's why the Shadowman has definition there, so you know where to put your head going into the tackle.
JP hopes his tackling system can also improve sprinting and acceleration, and even play a role in helping players returning from injury.
It can also be used as a rehab tool as well. Like every player has this problem, they're coming back from a minor or major injury and they don't know if they're match ready yet. And the big thing is going into a live tackle situation, which is ultimately the biggest physical test you can go into in game time rugby. So what they can do pre-match or during that week is that they can warm up, they can do a few tackles on the Shadowman, they can get a bit of feel for how their injury's coming along.
Shadowman is still in its early days and will need to gain approval from rugby's governing bodies, but the 23-year-old innovator is already thinking ahead.
At the moment I'm working on the second and third product line of the Shadowman, and basically what that's going to include is a new feedback mechanism, or correct tackle alert system is what I'm calling it, which will tell the player where they've tackled and how well they've performed that tackle.